So today we have in my studio Squadron Leader Pushp Kumar Vaid, VRC, and it's a really great honor for me to have him here and talk about his own experiences in the Bangladesh War 1971. He is an experienced Mi-4 helicopter pilot from the 1110 Squadron of the Indian Air Force, and I would like him to talk about his own experiences so that the word gets out of what the Indian Air Force did for the Bangladesh Liberation War. Thank you, sir, for coming to my workplace to finally meet. And I hope you really have a good stay at my home for the really good work that you're doing for spreading your own, exploits about the war, the 71 war, and the Meghna Bridge operations. I really wish good luck to you. And I would also like you to talk about your own experiences as a helicopter pilot and as a flight commander of the 1110 Helicopter Squadron in the Bangladesh operations. So if you could talk a bit brief about your own experiences, sir.
Yeah, joined Indian Air Force in 1963 onto the helicopter division, and I came to Kumbigram 110 HU in 1970 as a flight commander, and in 1971 the war was in the offing. Everybody was aware the war is coming, so we started preparing for it. We started training all the I was the flight commander, so I was training all the youngsters. And then towards the October 1971, we were told by East Air Command that we should do a lot of low flying and night flying, and that's what we did in October, November. We did a lot of low flying and a lot of night training and unprepared helipads. So almost everybody was ready by the time December came and the war started.
By that time, you had about 8 years of flying experience?
No, I'd done 63 to 71, 8 years roughly.
Right. And you mostly flew Mi-4 helicopters?
Yeah, I flew only Mi-4s.
Okay. So you were in the 1110 Helicopter Squadron at which place?
The war started in December. Kumbigram. At Kumbigram. Yeah.
Okay. And this unit was attached to the 4 Corps, I guess.
Yeah, and the war, before the war started, so General Sagat Singh requested Indian Army and the Indian Air Force if one helicopter unit could be attached to his corps.
Okay.
So 110 helicopter unit was attached to 4 Corps. So we became part of 4 Corps for the war.
Okay. And your squadron commander was?
Squadron Leader Sandhu was the CO.
Okay. So as a flight commander, a lot of responsibility must have been.
The flight commander's job is like the ops manager. So you're running the show. So all the jobs are given to you. Then it's your job to execute them.
Okay. And you were at that time, running all the show, of course. And how many pilots were under you?
We had 8 helicopters of 110 and 4 helicopters came from 105. So we had 12 helicopters.
Okay.
And at the start of the war, and then on the 10th of December, 2 more joined us from Hashimara. So we had 14 total in the end during the war.
So another question I had, as you had total, I guess by now 12 helicopters. 12 helicopters. So these were assigned to the 4 Corps, and the Bangladesh ops started officially from the 3rd of December 1971. So did your pilots train before for these kind of operations?
See, helicopter operation normally is communication flights taking whoever wants to go, general or brigadier or colonel, to wherever they want to go. Second is casualty evacuation, any injured people or even dead bodies we were bringing them back for proper rites at base, and supplying arms and ammunition and food wherever the army wanted us to take. So that's the job we were doing from 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th of December. We'd been training all this, and that's what we've been doing all along. Even in Mizo Hills, we were doing that. So that was nothing new.
Okay.
And the only thing new was the likelihood of flying at night, which we trained quite a bit. Okay. And being with the General Sagat Singh, we had not planned to do special heliborne operations, which General Sagat Singh wanted us to do from 7th of December onwards.
Okay.
So 7th of December, we were told that we're going to take a battalion to.
By now, the Indian Army was already very much inside Bangladesh.
Oh, the Indian Army had already started moving into East Pakistan right from October.
Okay.
in slowly, they were moving in slowly. And Sagat Singh's army was also moving in. Poco was also moving in from the east.
Okay.
But not very large amount, but they were moving in slowly and making areas clear so that they can keep moving further towards Meghna River.
Okay.
Yeah, see, first we did the Sylhet operation.
Sylhet. Okay.
On 7th of December, it was decided that we'll move one battalion to Sylhet.
And this was the which battalion?
4-5 Gurkhas.
Okay. And this was across which river, sir?
Yeah, Padma River is there, but main thing was that they were moved from Klora to Sylhet, which is about 45 kilometers.
Okay.
And we went to Klora about midday on the 7th, and we were waiting for the army to come. They got delayed. They came about 2:30, and I had 7 helicopters. Each helicopter had fuel for 3 trips each.
Okay.
So we took them up from about 2:45, and I made sure only one helicopter went at Sylhet at any one time because we didn't want bigger enemy target for the enemy.
Okay.
So I was the first one, then the second one, and the third one. And every time we were carrying between 12 and 15 soldiers and their luggage and their ammunition and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so I went and dropped my load, and the next one went 3 minutes later, dropped his load, and the third one went 3 minutes later. And then once I finished my load, I came running back, picked up my next load, and joined the group. So we were in a circle. Every 3 to 4 minutes we were landing.
Okay.
By the time the 6th or 7th helicopter arrived at Sylhet, we were being fired at. Pakistan army had started surrounding the field. And our army had spread out nicely, and they were keeping the helipad safe.
Okay.
And we dropped Colonel Horulkar, who was in charge of the 4-5 Gurkhas, so he was making sure that enemy was kept away from the helipad.
Lieutenant Colonel Harolika, he went first.
He went in the second or third landing. Yeah.
He was the CEO, I guess.
He was the CEO of 4-5 Gurkhas. And by the time we went the third time, the enemy firing was a lot more. And the Helvet and the twin order from Bangladesh Air Force, they were overhead and they were helping us, and they were being guided to shoot down wherever the enemy was firing from.
They were the part of the Kilo flight.
Kilo flight, yeah, they were from Kilo flight. Usually the Helvet was with us, and occasionally twin order would also come and give us a hand.
Okay.
And once we finished 3 flights, we came back to Sylhet, to Kailashar for refueling. We refueled, we got ourselves ready. It was pitch dark by now, and we got ready about 7 o'clock to start again. And Group Captain Chandan Singh said that it's too dark, we'll go in the morning, it's too dangerous. The helicopters are too low and they're too slow, and anybody can shoot us down.
But by that time, I guess some Indian soldiers must have been across the rivers.
I don't know how anybody was going by river, but I think we are
across the rivers, transported by you.
No, at Sylhet, that is across Padma River. We had dropped 250 soldiers.
Okay.
254 actually. And we came back, and as I said, we shut down and we were waiting for the instructions. And Group Captain said, no, it's too dangerous to go. And then Brigadier Quinn, who was in charge of the army side of the operation,
59 Mountain Brigade.
He and Group Captain Chandan Singh had a big power. And in the meantime, I told all my pilots to go to sleep because we hadn't been sleeping. We'd been working 24/7. So everybody was sleeping. I think I was probably sleeping as well. And about 11ish, I was woken up, and I came to Group Captain Chandan Singh, and he said, we have decided to send one helicopter. And if it came back, we'll send the rest. And he was in his mind.
I mean, there was enemy firing? Or
Yeah, all the time the firing was going on. That's why he was scared that any helicopter which goes, we're going to get shot down.
Okay.
And he was in his mind 100% sure that the helicopter that is going is not going to come back, because he had not told any other helicopter get ready. Just one helicopter was going. So nobody else was ready, only me. And I volunteered to go myself. And we picked up Flying Officer Kant Reddy and Bindra, and we got airborne about midnight. Bindra was the flight engineer.
Okay.
We got airborne midnight, and it was pitch dark. And I knew where the helipad was in daytime. There was a river, there was a bridge, and about a kilometer down away from the river. And so I got airborne. I had fairly good idea where I was going to land, but I could have been wrong as well, because I could be in enemy territory. Luckily, somebody came up on the radio, and I was so glad to hear this voice. Flying Officer Sharma was the liaison officer between the Air Force and the Army, and he had gone.
He was with the 4-5 Gurkha Rifles.
He was with the 4-5 Gurkhas.
He got the VRC.
He got a VRC. He got a VRC from the Army, not from the Air Force. Because one of the units, Army units, the in charge of the unit died in the action. So Prime Minister Sharma took over his position and fought with the troops as an army soldier. And for his gallantry, he was awarded Veer Chakra by the army. So when I heard his voice, I was so glad. And he said, "Everybody's quiet, and I'll light a fire for you, so you know exactly where to land." So he lit a fire for me. So I knew where to land, and I told my troops, the passengers I was carrying, as soon as I land, I want everybody out, and we'll be airborne in 30 seconds, which is exactly what we did. But as soon as we were going in, when we were going in, the amount of bullets that were coming our way were thousands and thousands and thousands of them. So anyway, I landed, I dropped my troops, and I got airborne, and I asked my flight engineer, go and have a look how many bullet holes we got. And he came back after about a minute or so, and he's with a big grin, "Sir, you won't believe we don't have a single bullet hole." And I think the only reason we don't have a bullet hole is enemy cannot see us. They're only firing in the noise. So I called up base. I said, "Come on, guys, we're all going in because the enemy doesn't know how to fire." So everybody started getting ready. In the meantime, I picked up my next load, went running back again, dropped my next load, got airborne again. Again with no bullet holes, came running back again, picked up a third load, went running back again, dropped my third load, got airborne this time, and my fuel gauge was showing 0. My engine was still running, my rotors are still running, so obviously we had fuel. So we prayed to whoever was up there, take us back home, and he got us back home. We landed back at Kalora, and the engineers opened the panel, and they found one bullet had come through the engine section of the helicopter and hit the cable of the fuel gauge, and the cable was broken. So they put a new cable in, and the fuel gauge was working. Then they put fuel in my helicopter, and the 4 helicopters that got ready, and I joined them, and the whole night we were operating. Following day we were operating, the following night we were operating, and we carried artillery guns also. And by 9th morning we had delivered nearly 900 soldiers and artillery gun staff and Mukti Bhani people and all the ammunition and all the radio and all the food and whatever else was needed.
This was just a Sylhet.
Just Sylhet. And whatever else was needed was requested to Group Captain Charan Singh, and he got a caribou to come from Kumbigram and drop arms, ammunition, food, whatever 4-5 Gurkhas needed. And that is done regularly. Whenever they needed anything, the caribou would come and drop it for them.
Okay. So this was just the Sylhet operations, and I think with 4-5 Gurkha Rifles, one company of 9 guards came.
Yeah, they went
at the end.
Yeah. Total about 900 people. I don't know who were the different units who joined us, but the main thing was 4-5 Gurkhas, Mukti Bhani, and the artillery guns we took, and their troops and ammunition.
So what about? I mean, you were operating both at day and night. So
we were flying.
What about your? I mean, you must have been exhausted.
No. Whenever we came back for refueling, everybody went and had a quick 10-minute sleep, and on the daytime, we didn't do as many flights in daytime, and a lot of the people were sleeping during the daytime. And then at night we operated much more because we found it was safer to go at night rather than in daytime. So the whole night we were flying, all of us, And a lot of casualty evacuations were doing as well in the meantime. So that's what also was going on at the same time.
4-5 GR had a lot of casualties.
Yeah, that is before they went to Sylhet. They had already been having battles, 3-4 battles before they reached Sylhet.
Yeah.
So in fact, on the 7th of December, they had a day off. And they were woken up from the day off, and they said, "Your day off is cancelled, and you're going to go to Sylhet."
And the rush to Meghna, 57 Mountain Division of the 4 Corps had to rush to Meghna as soon as possible because they needed to get to Dhaka. So,
see, once Sagat Singh saw how efficient we were going to Sylhet, he knew roughly how he's going to go to Dhaka now. And that is his mission right from the start. He wanted to get to Dhaka. He didn't want to keep fighting everybody on the way, which is the original plan of the Indian Army. Fight every stronghold Pakistan has got. So when we came back to Agatala, we all resting. Aircraft is getting prepared, and I was asked to come about nearly about 11 o'clock. Sagar Singh had come in an Albert, so he invited me to come along, and CO and one brigadier came, and six of us were sitting in the Albert, and he showed us. We went over Raipura where he wanted us to go that night, and he requested 4 guards to come back from Ashwaganj area.
Okay.
And so we went and saw Raipura helipad and identified where we were going to land. And on the way back, he said that this all area is under Indian control. So he came down to 1,000 feet and below. And suddenly we heard this noise, foot. A lot of bullets were going through the Alvet. Pilot got injured on his shoulder. The co-pilot took over, climbed away from there and came back to base.
So this was an alleyway where a lieutenant general was present.
Yeah, Sagar Singh was there with us. 2 COs, 2 pilots, Sagar Singh in the front, myself, my CO, and a brigadier at the back. And Sagar Singh got a bullet right across his forehead and just scraped it there. And one pilot got injured on his shoulder. And later on, I came to know there were 38 bullet holes in that helicopter. That means 19 bullets went through that helicopter. And only one person was injured. It was so fortunate, none of us got injured. And so we could carry on flying afterwards.
Right. Okay. So you crossed the Meghna because the bridge over the Meghna was destroyed. 10 Bihar and 4 guards were with you. So
yeah. So that evening we started flying on the 10th evening.
So
no, 9th evening. 9th evening started flying.
So from where you took off, it was
Brahmabaria
the stadium
to Raipura. Yeah.
To Raipura. Okay.
Yeah.
So after dropping these troops, they all started going towards Dhaka.
No, they were told to go to Narasingdi. Yeah. So they all started moving they reached Narasingdi within 10-11 hours after we had dropped them at Raipura. Okay. But there was no resistance. There was no enemy. And they picked up whatever method. They even picked up some of the wagons. Local Bengalis were very helpful. They told them where the trucks were, where whatever was. So whatever they could gather, they were using it.
Okay.
And they reached Narasingdi. And in the meantime, when we finished all this operation and came back to Agatala, Group Captain Chanan Singh said, next is destination in Narasingdi. So the following day, 11th morning onwards, we started Narasingdi operation, 11, 12, 13, 3 days. Again, about 1,000 soldiers we got there. And from there, and we took artillery guns as well, and anything else that Indian Army wanted us to do. Then we came running back and we were sleeping again. And then we were told next 4th special Haribon operation was Badya Bazar. So that's what we did on the 14th, 15th. We did that.
It's close to surrender. 16th.
And near Dhaka. We're getting closer to Dhaka. I think by 13th onwards we were very close to Dhaka. Some of the artillery guns were being fired at Dhaka already from 13th onwards. And by the time ceasefire was declared on 15th, Dhaka was surrounded most of the sides, and Tangail drop also took place at that time, and one of our fighters had played havoc into the governor's house, and another fighters had blown up the runway at Dhaka. So Dhaka was almost on its knees by that time. So that is when General Jacob came from Calcutta side and went to Niazi and told him, either you surrender, you die, or words to that effect.
Right. And
Niazi had the sense to surrender because he knew if he didn't surrender, all the soldiers would be killed by the local Bengalis because they were so pissed off.
At the Pakistanis, so what they did.
Yeah, with the Pakistanis. Yeah.
So, did you see any atrocities committed by the Pakistanis?
We at Brahmabaria, when we had shut down for the first day to the Raipura, we saw 300-400, I don't know the exact number, but large number of bodies lying on the riverside. And we asked the local people, what happened here? And he says, when the Pakistanis were running from here, they just gathered all these people and shot them. No questions asked, they just shot them. I've not got my head around how or what you would gain by killing 300-400 people. I've not got my head around that. And it was good in a way that we never saw any more dead bodies after that because we were flying all the time. So we didn't have chance to see any more dead bodies. But from what we could make out, it was horrendous the way they were treating the local people.
Okay. So surrender was close. It was happening on the 16th.
Yeah, 16th December, the surrender was announced. I mean, in the sense we saw Avros coming to Agatala, so we knew something was happening. Nobody had announced it yet. And that's when Jacob had gone to Niazi, had given him half an hour to make up his mind. And Niazi wanted to do private surrender, and he said, no, no private surrender, it'll be public surrender in front of everybody. It will be God of honors for General Aurora, and it'll be signed in front of the public. You know, our army, our air force, our navy, and local Bengalis would be there to cover it. So in the end, he agreed, and I mean, he had no choice basically, but in the end, he agreed. And the Alberts took all the VIPs, and 5 A4s were allocated to take all the reporters. And I was told to prepare 5 A4s, and only the pilots flying will be going. And I said, aye, sir. And I had 25 spare people, pilots and flight engineers. I didn't want any of them to miss the once in a lifetime surrender ceremony. So I smuggled these 25 people, five each in each helicopter, before I loaded up the reporters. And there were at least 15 to 20 reporters in each helicopter, you know, and they were from all over the world, and they were men, women, didn't matter. There was no restriction. So we took the whole lot, and we didn't write anybody's name. We didn't know who was on board and who was not on board. No manifests were made. Usually there was no time for this thing. There was no weighing scale. All the time we were doing crossing the Meghna and going to Sylhet. There was no time, and there was no facility. There was no facility to weigh anything. There was no time to weigh anything. We had no safety belts. We had no ropes. We had no nets. We just shoved it like a truck and got airborne. And we were very fortunate. We didn't have a single accident.
Yeah, that is
And
something. I mean, really.
I think the training helped, you know, the amount of training we had done, and the Josh everybody had, you know, and so it was wonderful. And flight engineers were magicians. They were the last one in and the first one out whenever we landed. They were the people who were handling the passengers, and they didn't have a safety belt either, you know. And they were right at the edge of the hole in the helicopter. You can imagine the big clamshell door had been removed. But it had been removed because then passengers could jump in and jump out, and the freight could be loaded in easily and dropped out easily. And fortunately, we didn't lose anybody on the way. Fortunately, we didn't lose any freight also on the way. And it worked beautifully. You know, all the crew were very enthusiastic and very keen to do all the work that is being done to us. And even after the war finished, 16th of December, General Sagat Singh took over as army commander, and he looked after Dhaka and he looked after East Pakistan, made sure the law and order was maintained. He got hold of the local army, navy, air force, and the police to go back to work and under supervision of the Indian army. Made sure that they get paid, and then started making sure normal amenities of water, electricity, you know, whatever the people needed was back. They managed to start getting that airport ready again, managed to get the bridges that were blown up back into normal. So all the normalities was being brought back. So by the time the Bangladesh government in exile started coming in, things were normal almost.
Yeah.
And he handed over power to them. It was only because of Sagat Singh and he had his one-track mind of going to Dhaka that Bangladesh came into being. Original plan of Indian Army and Indira Gandhi and Government of India was that we'll capture as much as possible of the East Pakistan and get the refugees back into East Pakistan. They never thought we had the capacity to get the whole country. Nobody imagined that we can get the whole country. Only gentleman who had this vision and who knew how we can get the whole country was General Sagat Singh. And his aim was get to Dhaka. And his aim was not to get bogged down fighting on the way with anybody else. So and with the use of helicopters, he was able to do that. He could go straight to Dhaka. And first Raipura, then Narasingdi, then Badya Bazar. So we always getting closer and closer to Dhaka. And by the 14th, 15th, we were already around Dhaka. And that is when General Jacob could go to Niazi and tell him that you have no choice.
I saw one thing, sir, that the Indian Army's 57 Mountain Division actually cut the Pakistani's 27 Infantry Brigade and the 313 and 202 brigades separately. These two brigades were locked up in Sylhet, and this brigade was fighting with the 57 Mountain Division. That was happening before the Meghna, or like?
Yeah. You see, idea of blocking Sylhet was that they will not come down to help Dhaka. That is why Sagar Singh had decided to send 4-5 Gurkhas there to stop anybody sitting in Sylhet to go south.
Okay.
So that is why our 4-5 Gurkhas went there to block them.
Right. And you, as the flight commander, what was your age at that time?
What was my age?
What was your age at that time?
30. I was 30. I was the oldest. And the youngest was 19. Dr. Chiritan. And most of the other pilots are 22, 23.
So you had to guide them as well.
Yeah. And of course, I was leading them. I was always in the front. So if I was putting my neck on the line first, everybody is happy to do that as well.
So, and everybody volunteered happily.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and could you talk about a bit about your, this gallantry award that you received, the Veer Chakra? Who wrote your citation? And
no, you see, when I volunteered to go on the 8th of December to Sylhet, Group Captain Chandan Singh was almost 100% sure that I was not going to come back, because helicopters are always low, they're always slow, and anybody can shoot us down. And I was going to be the only helicopter, so they could target all the ammunition towards me. Only good thing was that our army had spread out nicely all around the helipad, and they made sure Pakistanis had not come any nearer to us. Sagar Singh, as I said, was 100% sure that I was not going to come back, and because only one helicopter was going and it would be targeted by the enemy. And Colonel Hurulka had arranged in such a way the army spread his battalion nicely so that nobody could come near the helipad.
Okay.
And BBC had also announced that the brigade had been dropped, so that also
demoralized
the enemy. So they didn't come closer to where our army was.
Okay. So, and you receiving the Veer Chakra for sure, that was given by your squadron commander?
No. Group Captain Chandan Singh had recommended my name. I think as soon as I got airborne, I got the feeling he had already sent my citation.
Okay.
Because he was, as I said, sure I was not coming back.
Okay.
And by 10th, I'd already been awarded the Veer Chakra.
Promoted as squadron leader, and you stayed in the same squadron?
No, I was, when you get rank, you usually get posted out. So I was posted to NCC in Bhubaneswar.
Okay.
So I spent 2 years in NCC in Bhubaneswar. Okay. Then I took premature retirement.
Okay. After that, you joined the British Airways?
Yeah, I joined British Airways Helicopters, and I worked with them for nearly 20 years. And I flew Scotsky 61, and then I flew the Scotsky 76. And I flew the Chinooks as well. For 5 years I flew Chinooks. And Chinooks was one of the best helicopter I've flown in my life. Absolutely wonderful helicopter.
That's really wonderful flying career itself.
Yeah, I did 44 years of flying helicopters, and I have 17,500 hours of flying helicopters, which is quite rare for a helicopter pilot.
Yeah, 17.5. It's a really great pleasure and honor to have you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Finally talk
My
about
pleasure
your own
as well.
experiences.
My pleasure as well.
I would really say it's an honor of mine to finally have you in my own studio so that we could talk together and share your experiences with the world, so that it comes out from here, and so that more people can know about what you did.
Yeah, wonderful.